Finally, the NRM has brought back the amendment in the Leader of Opposition office. But when you hear these members of parliament speaking about this, you clearly see that they lack depth on the way how to understand how multipartyism work. One of the members who are held in high regard, like OPONDO, who is fairly, by the way, understanding and knowledgeable, he decided to sink so low when he commented on this bill. He said these statements.
Actually, the members of opposition do debate and vote for the confirmation of the Vice President on this floor and the Prime Minister. And through the Committee on Appointments, you actually appoint the ministers by participating in voting. Approve. Therefore, in principle, there is nothing wrong in members of the entire opposition. Indeed, there's nothing wrong if we will take the route that the ruling side does vote for the leader of opposition, because that's a principle. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That is OPONDO. First of all, we must question, after election, there is a majority party. In this example, it is the NRM. If you decide to put the NRM in the election of the leader of opposition, then the office of the leader of opposition ceases to exist, because the majority will take that day, and that is the NRM. They will have to decide who leads on the side of the opposition. This is, I think, the fourth attempt this amendment is being brought. And I think in the 7th Parliament, it was once brought by Segona, it was squashed out. It is, Rumo also brought it in the previous Parliament, it was put out. Now it is being brought. The day we'll see it passing that way, as Odongo, as OPONDO is commenting about it, it will be a degeneration in the multipartyism. It is the reason as to why I was so baffled. The people pushing through this bill are all NRM. In fact, the mover, Namara, said these statements.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker and honourable members. First of all, we must acknowledge that this is a new parliament. This is a new parliament, and every new parliament is supposed to make laws and rules for the better functioning of that parliament. This is not the 11th parliament, it is the 12th parliament. And the Administration of Parliament Act talks about how parliament functions. It is the internal nuts and bolts of how the internal technicalities and operations of parliament are executed. Therefore, that's why we say at the inception of this parliament, we should come up with the laws and rules for the better functioning of this parliament. All said and done, Honourable Speaker and honourable members, we are talking about anchoring democracy. Democracy cannot only be on the side of the national resistance movement. Democracy should be on two sides. If you are seeking, those people, the maxim of equity says those who seek equity must come with clean hands. So when you come and say government should be accountable, even on your side, you should be accountable. Honourable Speaker, the bill is to amend the Administration of Parliament Act to provide for the election of the leader of opposition by members of the opposition in Parliament from amongst themselves. That's one. Number two, to provide additional grounds upon which the leader of the opposition may cease to hold office for purposes of accountability. If every person, every minister of the government of Uganda can be censured because they draw money from the consolidated fund, how come there are no checks and balances on the side of the leader of opposition who draws money from the consolidated fund? Number three, to require the shadow cabinet to be approved by all members of the opposition, not only one political party. Number three, Honourable Speaker, I beg to be protected by some...
Honourable, they are not on record.
Oh,
continue.
Thank you very much. Number four, also, Honourable Speaker, as you can see, from the appointment of the committees of parliament and international bodies, only one political party out of 17 positions has taken 16. The other political parties, we don't talk about the position of one political party. We talk about opposition parties in parliament. Which type of equity do you talk about when 17 positions are taken by one political party, and yet we have more than 5 political parties in parliament? What are the defects in the existing legislation? When you look at the cabinet, Right Honorable Speaker and members, out of 30 ministers, 20 of them are from one political party. The rest share only 10. We are saying you want to entrench democracy. What you preach to us is what you must practice. What are the defects in the existing law? In July 2005, Uganda transitioned from the movement political system to a multi-party political system through a national referendum. The adoption of the multi-party system of governance saw the amendment of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda to create the office of the Leader of Opposition in Parliament. And subsequently, in 2006, the Administration of Parliament Act was amended to provide for the office of the Leader of Opposition. Section 8 of the Administration of Parliament Act provides for the election of the Leader of Opposition in Parliament to the government, having the greatest numerical strength in Parliament. Whereas Section 8 of the Administration of Parliament Act requires the Leader of Opposition in Parliament to be determined through consultation with other political parties in opposition and independent members of Parliament. It has been a norm that the choosing of the Leader of Opposition is not done in Parliament. And yet the law is about the Administration of Parliament Act. But the choosing of the Leader of Opposition is handled from outside Parliament. We want the members of the opposition, together with the independent members of opposition who are here, as the law provides, to be consulted on that matter.
That is the move of the motion. So, in the course of this video, I've come to talk about the amendment in the Leader of Opposition office, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're into this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawaga. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. One, I learned that when a person brings out a message, learn to decode the feeling or the intent around it. In the Bible, they say if they write you a letter, don't read the letter, but read the spirit of a letter. That this amendment is being brought by overzealous state institutions which want to manage transition to dilute the powers of the office of the Leader of Opposition, which is not fairly very well. If indeed they wanted to strengthen the office of the Leader of Opposition, what they ought to bring is that the first runners-up in an election should be the Leader of Opposition in Parliament. In this case, Bobi Wine would be a Leader of Opposition in Parliament if indeed they wanted to strengthen it, because that is a practice in very many countries. Okay, since it is a private member's bill brought by an NRM member and it's not brought by government, because any bill that can go into law that has an extraction from the exchequer must be brought by government. So, which means for those who don't know politics, if a law is going to be brought and it's going to increase on the expenditure, it must be brought by government. So, since it is a private member's bill, what ought to be have done is amend the law, bring Bobi Wine as the Leader of Opposition. Don't give him a salary, but let him get allowance from the budget which is already created through the office of the Leader of Opposition, because there's a budget regardless who comes. Okay, if indeed they are genuine, thereby you would have strengthened the opposition, because the actual opposition leader is the first runners-up, who was Bobi Wine. If indeed we are genuine, SSENYONYI will be called the leader of minority, not the leader of opposition, because it's not the leader of opposition, it's the leader of a minority. So if indeed they wanted to strengthen this office, what ought to be done is to bring the first runners-up in an election to be the leader of opposition. But since they want to dilute it, even the small powers the office had, they want to dilute it more so that they can elect the leader of opposition, following the directive of the CDF Moscow, which is unfortunate. In fact, they were also wanted to band together those MPs who are independent, to categorize them as opposition so that they can elect the leader. In fact, MP Karim Masaba explained this. He said these statements.
Honorable Speaker, I'm an independent member of Parliament and I'm serving my second term. I've never subscribed to any political party. I've never subscribed to any political party, and I've been able to win, and I've been re-elected as an independent member of parliament. The previous two members have been referring to us, the independents, to be part or involved in the election of the leader of opposition. Yet, the leader of opposition is defined, and me as an independent, I do not subscribe to NRM, I do not subscribe to the opposition. So, Right Honorable Speaker, as an independent, I wouldn't want to be involved in any matter concerning the opposition or the NRM, unless I do have a memorandum of understanding, as some of the independents who have the MOUs with the National Resistance Movement. So the procedural matter I'm raising is are the two honorable members proceeding well to keep referring to us, the independents, me, an independent, as one who should be involved? Because yes, they have, according to his justification and according to what he has stated, he's saying as the independent member of parliament, we need to take part in the election of the leader of opposition. So, Right Honorable Speaker, are we proceeding well if, or by the honorable members referring to me, an independent, as one who needs to take part in the matters of the opposition? Thank you very much.
That is Karim Masala, which I agree with. An independent member is neither pro-government or pro-opposition. In fact, an independent member, they even continue to oppose each other. You are independent alone. Independents cannot be banded together because they are independent of each other. So they cannot be in opposition. Secondly, look at some parties within the opposition, like DP. They have their president general serving in cabinet. So if you bring an election, on which side will they elect? It is the truth. Okay? So, such things that happen, they are degeneration of multipartyism. They are entrenching authoritarianism, which is not supposed to be the case. The small achievements we've got in multipartyism and democracy must not be degenerated because some excited member, okay, doesn't want so. It even continued that there's a member of parliament who stood out and said that there's a lacuna in the law on how to remove the leader of opposition. And he said these statements.
Whereas the leader of the opposition is a major office in the parliament, in the parliamentary system and in administration of parliament. As it is now, it does not prescribe the procedures and grounds for it is what? Removal. There is therefore lack of grounds to secure the office of LOP, meaning that LOP can be removed anytime without even justification. That is why we want to come up with an amendment to protect the office of LOP democratically. Because right now, somebody can wake up somewhere in the headquarters of a certain party and remove you. For us, we want to secure your tenure democratically. Consequently, as a result, there is a need, therefore, to amend the Administration of Parliament Act.
That is the MP. First of all, the framers of 1995 Constitution understood every position in a parliamentary commission has a procedure on how to remove an office, except the leader of opposition. There is a reason why. For example, under the rogue speakership, who was Anita Among, if he had a way of to remove Jason, he would have done so, like the way they removed Honorable Zaki. So the framers of 1995 Constitution understood that since the leader of opposition puts government in check, he can rattle people a wrong way and they could remove him. Is the reasons why General Hose hinted on removing SSENYONYI through the amendment of the because he felt like he was rubbing him the wrong way. The only person who should remove the leader of opposition is the party that appointed him, that is Bobby Wine. If he feels like he does not live up to his expectation. Do you remember when they wanted to remove Mpuga as a commissioner and Parliament refused? The appointing authority wanted to remove him because he was not living up to the expectation. And time called out because the Parliamentary Commission is now being arrested for corruption. So what must be settled actually is the leader of opposition should be the first runners up. The other things are holobalu are trying to dilute the office. Of course, since my opinion is truly Mr. Makinde Kabi Suleiman Magolo. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I'm motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.